Research. We often picture it to be taking place in a lab. It's a very strictly structured process with firm rules to find answers to questions that arise from our curiosity. By following the rules, we find new insights related to those questions. If done well, these insights tell us something about reality. This is what we call theory-oriented research. But we find that the new insights again lead to new questions. New theory-oriented research then aims to bring us to the next new insights. So, instead of a straight line from question to answer, we could see this as a cyclic process that goes from question to new question, deeper and deeper into the matter. This is the way we develop knowledge for knowledge. But on many occasions, curiosity is not the only driver. We want the new insights to be useful for us. We would like to be able to translate the insights into successful changes in the way we do things. The research cycle then becomes a way to improve, to intervene in our current system. It is the way we develop knowledge for change. It is practice-oriented research. That's when the cycle becomes the intervention cycle. Example, looking for a way to dry laundry, for instance. The intervention cycle starts with a problem analysis. Research is needed to be able to translate current conditions into this analysis. The analysis leads to a diagnosis. From the diagnosis stem the conditions for a solution, and that on its turn leads to a plan for an intervention. When the plan is decided upon, it will be executed, and in the end the result evaluated. The evaluation can then lead to a new round in this cycle. The first 3 steps seem quite self-explanatory. But when at the stage of creating a plan for an intervention, the situation might demand for another cycle to be used in the process, the design cycle. Via the process of the design cycle, a plan for an intervention can be developed, and when finalized, used to follow up on the intervention cycle. And yes, of course, the steps in the design cycle have a logical order too. And back to the example, how to clip wet laundry to a line to dry. It starts with the first hunch, the design goal. That leads to design demands and assumptions that eventually take shape in structural specifications. Via the process of generation of possible solutions, a series of prototypes is constructed. The best prototype is chosen for implementation and the results are evaluated. That evaluation could eventually lead to another round in the design cycle or could trigger a new entry into the intervention cycle. Both cycles are connected and they influence both processes. And it's clear that some phases show similarities. Just compare problem analysis to design demands and assumptions. And conditions for a solution have elements in common with the structural specifications in the design cycle. Also, the last 2 steps in both cycles are somewhat similar. Still, the core elements of the design cycle, aiming at the design of new interventions, products, processes, you name it, these elements relate directly to the connection point, the need for a plan for an intervention. And all of this sounds like a nicely structured step-by-step process, but in most cases it is iterative. That means that new insights give you reason to take a few steps back and start over with one of the cycles, even several times. So far, this introduction into design research has been based on the theory as published by Professor Verschuren in 2009. The model of Tim Brown for the design cycle is quite comparable. He distinguishes 3 main phases: inspiration, ideation, and implementation. In contrast to Verschuren, Brown emphasizes the ideation phase, as he considers the process of generating alternatives an essential part of the design cycle. In his model, prototyping connects the phases ideation and implementation. Just like the model by Brown, we could relate many other cyclic descriptions of design and intervention to the model in this video. And so we can use this framework as a basis for exploring all kinds of techniques and methods of design research, like the World Café, prototyping, walking interview, and many others. This is Investigative Abilities.